This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
The
Pakistani Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani has confirmed the arrest of two members of the banned Lashkar-e-Taiba group suspected of being involved in the attacks of Mumbai. Gilani said that the masterminds of these attacks, Zaki Rahman and his colleague Zara Shah, are being held for questioning. Meanwhile, India has demanded that the UN Security Council add the names of the two suspects to the terror list. Al Jazeera bureau chief in Islamabad, Ahmed Zidani, joins us from there to talk about the latest developments pertaining to the ongoing investigations and the Pakistani reactions to India's political maneuvers.
Yes, Iman, according to statements made by the Pakistani Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani, the Mumbai attack suspect, Zaki-ur-Rahman, was arrested on December 4th in Muzaffarabad, the capital of the Pakistani-administered part of Kashmir. In addition, one of his supporters, Zara Shah, was also arrested in Muzaffarabad. This comes after Indian security agencies leaked information that Zaki-ur-Rahman was one of the masterminds of the Mumbai attacks. Of course, the information was based on the confessions that were made by the only surviving perpetrator of the Mumbai attacks. Meanwhile, there are tensions along the Pakistani-Indian borders. The Indian media has reported that India's Air Force was placed on a highest state of alert, perhaps to launch some kind of an attack on Pakistan. A short time ago, Pakistan also confirmed that its Air Force was placed on a state of alert, but at a lower level to counter what it described as a possible Indian aggression on Pakistan. All of this is happening while the Pakistani security is pursuing members of the Lashkar-e-Taiba group. Of course, India accused this organization of being involved in the Mumbai events. The group has been banned since 2002 in the famous speech that was made by the former Pakistani president Pervez Musharraf. There is also another group called Al-Dawa, which came after the Lashkar-e-Taiba. In fact, it is believed that the Lashkar-e-Taiba had changed its name to Al-Da'wa Group, which operates as a charity organization in Pakistan. Pakistani security is now pursuing this organization. A short time ago, we learned that Pakistani security agencies have been trying to pursue this charity organization, which is based in Muzaffarabad. The organization was not allowed to collect the skin of sacrificed animals, which the organization usually collects and sells in order to generate revenues for charitable projects. Of course, this poses an important point which has been raised by political observers, that the Indian-Pakistani struggle is no longer a bilateral struggle between India and Pakistan. Now, America, Russia and China have intervened by supporting Pakistan or New Delhi. The fact that the two countries have nuclear weapons threatens world peace.
We thank you, Ahmed Zidan, who joined us from Islamabad.
من ناحية أخرى طالبت محامية لدى المجلس القضائي الهندي المحكمة العليا للبلاد.
A lawyer from the Indian Higher Court to the Judicial Council has asked for the ban of Google Earth. The lawyer said that the use of Google Earth has made it easier for the terrorists to achieve their attack on Mumbai.
في تنفيذ عمليات مومباي.
رغم النجاح الواسع الذي حققه برنامج جوجل إيرث في مختلف أنحاء العالم والشعبية التي كسبها بين مستخدمي
Although Google Earth has been a worldwide success and gained a lot of popularity with internet users, the Indian High Court has decided to ban its use. This case is based on accusing Google Earth of facilitating the terrorist attacks on Mumbai. According to one of the arrested attackers, the terrorist group found this technology advantageous. It made it easier for them to learn about the streets where the attacks took place and to study the entrances and exits. This has also saved them time and effort that they would have spent without this technology.
والتعرف على مداخلها وحتى مخارجها ما وفر لهم الكثير من الوقت والجهد والمخاطر.
This accusation facing Google Earth regarding the Mumbai attack is not unique. There is some evidence that the pirates off the coasts of Somalia utilized this program for direction and to locate their targets.
الذي يواجه برنامج جوجل إيرث والذي تتيح أحدث إصداراته دقة بالغة في استكشاف أي مكان.
This program is not complicated to use. Just by clicking on the location that needs to be searched, a window opens up showing links, videos, and detailed information around the location. It also provides precise latitude and longitude.
أداة البحث هذه ليست معقدة الاستعمال فبمجرد الضغط على المنطقة التي يراد
This precise internet tool has increased the fear of some countries because individuals can easily search and locate sensitive and strategic sites.
موسعة حول هذه المنطقة وتوضيح خطوط الطول والعرض كذلك. هذه الدقة في البحث والاستكشاف زادت من مخاوف بعض.
The U.S. Pentagon has banned the filming of military bases due to fear of possible attacks.
بحظر تصوير القواعد العسكرية التابعة له وإدراجها ضمن برنامج جوجل إيرث تخوفا من هجمات محتملة. أما بريطانيا فقد عانت
As for Britain, their military camp in Basra had suffered from bomb attacks because it was located easily through Google Earth.
لتحديد أكثر الأهداف سهولة. وقد أبدى كل من تايلاند وكوريا
Thailand, South Korea, Holland, and other countries have all expressed similar fear regarding the sensitive information that can fall in the hands of terrorists. Faiza Harzallah, Al-Arabiya.
فايزة حرزلة العربية.
The United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO, warned that the number of people suffering from hunger in the world is about 1 billion. The FAO added that the situation will likely deteriorate further due to the current global economic and financial crisis.
The Rome-based United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization warned that the current economic crisis may lead to an increase in the number of people suffering from hunger and poverty. According to FAO estimates, the number of people suffering from hunger is nearly 907 million, with the vast majority living in underdeveloped countries. The FAO added that 65% of them are concentrated in 7 countries, namely India, China, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Ethiopia. The UN-based organization said that any progress achieved in the largest populated countries will definitely lead to a reduction in the level of hunger in the world. The FAO estimated that nearly 2/3 of the total number of malnourished individuals in the world live in Asia. Despite its grim report, the FAO welcomed what it described as good progress, witnessed in countries such as Thailand and Vietnam. Such countries have met the goals of the 1996 World Food Summit, aimed at reducing hunger by half in 2015. According to the FAO report, 1 out of 3 people is suffering from extreme hunger in the region of sub-Saharan Africa. In addition, the region has the highest number of malnourished per capita. The steady rise in food prices has reflected negatively on the efforts aimed at reducing the level of hunger in Latin America and the Caribbean region. In general, the level of malnutrition continues to decline in certain countries in the Middle East and North Africa. This news comes at a time when conflicts continue to rise in Afghanistan and Iraq, and food prices continue to increase worldwide. Meanwhile, the number of the malnourished has risen from 15 million between 1990 and 1992 to 37 million last year. During October 2008, FAO's food price index measured 28% higher than the same month's figure in 2006.
اتهم قام رئيس الوزراء نور المالكي البعض بالحديث عن اتفاق سحب القوات الأمريكية.
Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki refuted accusations that the withdrawal agreement was intended to promote his position in the upcoming elections. He said that the government did not intend to use the agreement for election purposes. Al-Maliki added that government employees have not been receiving raises, which will finally be paid to them next year. He denied rumors that the raises will not be paid.
The day the withdrawal agreement was signed should become a national day for Iraq. These were the words of Prime Minister Nour al-Maliki, who gave a speech commemorating Eid al-Adha holiday. Al-Maliki, who visited Karbala and met with citizens and officials there, defended the agreement, saying it has strategic objectives and was not intended for political purposes. He said the objective of the agreement is rather to save Iraq.
أن هذا اليوم الذي يستحق أن يكون يوما وطنيا للعراق.
This day should be a national holiday for Iraq. Iraqis managed to gain complete sovereignty, as well as put a timetable and restrictions on the movement of the international forces. Unfortunately, certain individuals want to mislead Iraqis and claim that the agreement was used for election purposes. We did not intend for this agreement to advance our position in the elections. In 3 years, the presence of foreign forces will end, and their movement will be regulated. They will no longer have prisons in Iraq, and they will no longer have the right to arrest anyone. The judiciary system will return, and there will be no green zone. The Iraqi government will once again have control of the country's territory, borders, and water.
Al-Maliki assured government employees that they will be receiving past due raises next year. He denied rumors that the raises will be cancelled, stating that the government wants its employees to improve their living standards.
I would like to assure all government employees that the rumors stating that the employee raises will be cancelled are untrue. In fact, the raises will be paid after January 1st, 2009 for all past due months.
Al-Maliki praised efforts exerted by the government in order to make 2009 a year of reconstruction. A significant percentage of planned infrastructure projects have been completed, and there are plans to complete more projects.
We have big projects ahead of us. First, we would like to provide public services as soon as possible. Thank God we've succeeded in this. Perhaps what has been achieved cannot be seen due to the great level of destruction that we inherited. We said that 2008 was going to be the year of public services. Reconstruction was taking place throughout Iraq. One can see signs of construction everywhere, such as new buildings, developing power plants, and oil installations. There is still, however, a lot to be done in order to undo the destruction that started after 1990. No schools, medical centers, hospitals, or other projects have been built since then.
Al-Maliki urged citizens to vote for the best possible candidate in the upcoming provincial elections, advising them to place national interests above all other interests.
I hope that you will not be obligated to vote for anyone, regardless of who it might be. You should fear God and vote for what is good for Iraq and its people. You should vote for whoever you think will achieve this objective.
Al-Mahir Al-Qutbani, Al-Iraqiya.
During
the 60th anniversary for the Universal Declaration of International Human Rights, there is much to be said about the situation in the Gaza Strip. The policy adopted by Israel toward the people of Gaza is equivalent to a crime against humanity. This is how UN Special Expert on Human Rights in the Palestinian territories, Richard Falk, described the situation in the Gaza Strip. Falk urged the UN to move quickly to protect the civilians in the Gaza Strip against the Israeli campaign of collective collective punishment. He further said that the International Criminal Court must look into the possibility of trying to pursue Israeli military and political officials for their violations of international laws. These sharp criticisms of Israel in the area of human rights didn't have any tangible effect on the ground in the Gaza Strip. This news comes as Israel continues its campaign of collective punishment. Yesterday, Israel partially opened 3 commercial border crossings in Gaza, with Karm Abu Salam passage remaining open throughout the day. Meanwhile, the Karama Solidarity ship, which is owned by the Free Gaza movement, has anchored in the port of Gaza. The ship made it to shore after dodging the waves of the high sea and countering the harassment of the Israeli naval forces. Zuhair Sakala reports from Gaza.
زهير سقلة من غزة.
Israel opened 3 commercial border crossings in the Gaza Strip. Nearly 45 trucks carrying humanitarian aid and frozen food were allowed to enter the besieged enclave through the Karm Abu Salam border crossing in the southern Gaza Strip. In addition, tankers carrying shipments of cooking oil and industrial diesel for the main power plant were allowed to enter through the Nahal Oz border crossing in the eastern Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, some trucks carrying animal feed and flour entered Gaza through the Mintar Karni border crossing.
Today we received a shipment of animal feed and wheat that is barely enough for one day.
The goods they are bringing are not enough to meet the needs of the city. However, what can we do? It's the Israelis' decision.
According to Israel, the decision to reopen Gaza border crossings was due in part to the relative calm witnessed in the territories along the Israeli borders. However, the quantity of food and goods that were allowed to enter into Gaza may not last more than a day or two at the most. While Gaza border crossings were opened partially, the waves of the Gaza Sea were busy welcoming the Karama Solidarity ship, which is anchored in the Fisherman Wharf. The Karama ship decided once again to break the Gaza siege. The ship anchored in Gaza after challenging the waves of the high sea and the occupation naval forces. This news comes as Israel tried to prevent the Karama, which is carrying human rights activists and supporters, from reaching the Gaza shores. The Karama ship, which is run by the Free Gaza movement, sailed from the port of Larnaca in Cyprus, carrying medicine and medical aid.
This is yet another move by the international solidarity and popular movements to help our Palestinian people. This is a message that the Palestinian people will not be left alone to face the Israeli siege. It's a message to challenge the occupation and mount pressure on the Israeli government to open all border crossings in Gaza.
In days past, these ships were not considered to be the highest hope for the people of Gaza, and this partial opening of the border crossing is not the decent life hoped for in Gaza. Zuhair Sakala, Dubai TV, Gaza.
We open with the strategic discussions today on the security situation in Gaza. Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, Defense Minister Ehud Barak, and Foreign Minister Tzipi Livni held talks to discuss the faltering Gaza truce and to consider the Israeli response. The three debated whether to extend the 6-month-old lull, which officially ends on December 19th. The meeting follows remarks from Olmert threatening that Israel will lash out at terrorists in response to recent rocket attacks and mortar fire coming from the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the Qassam rocket fire continues unabated. A rocket today landed in an open field in the Shara Negev Regional Council. There were no injuries or damage caused. Yesterday, Olmert toured the rocket-battered communities bordering Gaza. Speaking to children, Olmert said that Israel will never flee from our homes. We won't defend, but will attack and stop once and for all what threatens our daily life. We know what needs to be done, said Olmert, but we also know when to act so that you won't be scared and you won't need to run to shelters. Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak today recalled his country's diplomatic envoy from Tehran. This after a protest was held in front of an Egyptian diplomatic office in the Iranian capital on Monday. That demonstration was staged to protest against Egypt's so-called cooperation with Israel over the ongoing siege of the Hamas-run Gaza Strip. Local political analysts say the Egyptian move could further delay the normalization process between the two nations, which was severed following Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution when Egypt granted asylum to the Shah of Iran. Pakistan today officially confirmed that both men believed to be the masterminds behind the Mumbai terror attacks have been captured. Pakistani Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani said he hopes the arrest will send a good message to India and the rest of the world that Pakistan is a responsible nation. Zaki-ur-Rehman Lakhvi was captured during a raid in Kashmir on Sunday after the sole captured terrorist confessed Lakhvi recruited him for the attack. Zarar Shah is also under arrest on charges that he coordinated communications for the terrorists during their three-day siege in Mumbai. Islamabad made it clear that it has no intention of extraditing the suspects to India to stand trial. Investigators believe all of the men in custody are members of the Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group believed to be responsible for the deaths of 171 people, including 6 Israelis and Jews. Meanwhile, the identities of all 10 terrorists have been released by the Mumbai Crime Bureau. All were in their 20s and living in Pakistan prior to the attacks.
French President Nicolas Sarkozy said that France's decision to extend its hand to Syria was risky, but it reflected positively on the situation in Lebanon. Sarkozy further said that he trusts Syria and doesn't regret the opening of a dialogue with Damascus. During a speech marking the 60th anniversary for the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Sarkozy praised the positive role played by Damascus in Lebanon. This has led to the election of the Lebanese president, Michel Suleiman, and the formation of the National Unity Government. It also helped pave the way for the Lebanese parliamentary elections. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter is in Beirut for a Mideast tour, which also includes Syria. Through his visit, Carter is trying to assess whether his Carter Center will take part in monitoring the upcoming Lebanese parliamentary elections. Meanwhile, Hezbollah leaders rejected a request to meet with him.
During a Mideast tour, which includes Syria, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter has arrived in Beirut. Carter was welcomed by the head of protocol in the Lebanese Foreign Ministry, Ambassador George Siam, and U.S. Ambassador to Lebanon Michel Sisson, upon his arrival at Beirut International Airport. During a brief press conference, Carter said that he will meet with all the political parties and leaders, but doesn't know yet if he will meet with Hezbollah leaders.
With all of the political parties, it's possible. I understand that some of the leaders of Hezbollah said they were not going to meet with any president or former presidents of the United States, so I don't know yet. But I will meet with the president and the prime minister and the leader of the various parties. I'll be able to take an aerial viewpoint of some of the regions that are in dispute. I'm very glad to see move to normal diplomatic relations, the exchange of ambassadors between Syria and Lebanon, and hope this will continue on track.
Carter further said that he will assess whether his Carter Center is going to take part in monitoring the upcoming parliamentary elections, hoping that they will take place in a democratic environment.
Meanwhile, Lebanese Interior Minister Ziad Baroud said that the former President Carter neither was asked nor volunteered to monitor the parliamentary elections. Baroud said that Carter is asking to be part of a follow-up committee overseeing the elections, as the case was in many elections around the world. During a televised speech, Baroud said that his office is assessing the situation in a positive way, but the Council of Ministers has the last word on that. Baroud added that his office is looking for an agency that will help plan the upcoming elections and monitor them locally. The agency must meet certain terms and conditions. Baroud concluded that it's in Lebanon's interest to open the door to any election monitoring agency, provided that the process is serious.
Millions of Muslims around the world are celebrating Eid al-Adha. The festival is traditionally a time of plenty, but in Mauritania, the crushing economic downturn and political instability have left many with very little to celebrate. Mohammed Val reports from the capital, Nouakchott.
Last-minute buying spree on the eve of Al-Adha festival, or Festival of Sacrifice, in the Mauritanian capital, Nouakchott, a country where lavish spending is an essential part of the Eid celebration.
I'm ready to spend any amount of money on this Eid. If I only have 100,000, I'll spend it all today.
But on such a day of exceptional obligations, Mauritania is not in its best economic shape. The country is also in deep political confusion since last August's military coup. Few foreign countries have recognized the new military ruler and his regime. They are facing threats of sanctions from abroad and shrewd opposition from within. This is one of the many areas around the capital Nouakchott where poverty shows its ugliest face. Few people here have a job or a decent source of living. Yet on this special day, these poorest of the poor will hardly complain to you or express bitter feelings about not being like others. It's against personal pride here to reveal one's poverty or make an issue of it in public. This man has failed to sell his 2 goats, the only property he has, in order to buy a lamb and clothes for 6 children for Eid.
I gave my wife some money for Eid. She said it's not enough and refused to take it. I'm in trouble.
Returning home empty-handed, he was received by crying children. Abdullah is in debt because of this Eid, but he is proud.
It's an obligation, and one has to do it. There are no choices here.
It's a country with over 30% unemployment rate, 50% of the population under poverty line, 80% of the national wealth in the hands of a 10% elite. Regimes may come and go, but poverty and social injustices are here to stay. Mohammed Val, Al Jazeera, Nouakchott, Mauritania.
Get more news about the Middle East online at linktv.org/Mosaic. The Mosaic webpage offers a complete archive of Mosaic programs, program transcripts, the Mosaic video podcast, and the Mosaic Intelligence Report, a weekly analysis of the hottest stories from the Middle East. The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible with the support of viewers like you. Thank you. This program was brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. television network devoted to global and national news, with uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.